Hello, hi! I just got back from watching the Sonic movie 3. I wanted to give my thoughts on it, but unlike with the Mario movie, I didn't take notes, so I don't really have much except for my memory of the movie. I also didn't want to write a script for this like I did for the Mario movie because I'm lazy. While I have a basic outline of what I want to say, all of the words that are coming out of my head is straight off the dome. So if I fumble my words a bit, that's why. This ain't your granddaddy's hoity-toity professional review. This is my incoherent thoughts about Sonic 3. The movie, not the video game. Also, spoiler warning. Let's start with the visuals, because honestly, that was the least important thing to me, and I want to go from that and build up to the most important thing. While the sets themselves were just alright, like there wasn't anything special in the sets, it was just city or sciencey stuff or the moon. I guess it makes sense because this movie takes place in the real world, so it's alright. But what I do want to draw attention to is the character models. It's been said over and over again, but the way we went from this to this is just incredible. I love the detail on the models, especially how the rain pats down Shadow's fur and makes him look all edgy and brooding. Like, that's my edgy boy. Who's an edgy boy? You are. All the characters look on model and basically how you would expect them to in a movie with this much detail. I hate to be one to gripe though, especially when the models look so good, but I do have one nitpick, and no, it's not Sonic's arm color. It's the teeth, dude. I just don't know, but Sonic having like realistic human teeth is just so weird to me. I like having it as like one ridge teeth like it is in most promotional artwork for games. And I get that having the teeth is like part of them trying to make it look realistic with the fur and shit. And I get what they were going for, but it just looks weird whenever he's eating shit or screaming. I don't know. But one thing I don't have complaints about is the action, and obviously I can't show you it, but I love how these movies do speed. Like, it has a good combination of DBZ style clashing together shots, especially when the two hedgehogs go super, and up close chase scenes that emphasize their speed. It's a perfect balance between showing how far they're going in so little time and how fast they're moving and letting them like actually perform actions rather than just be blurs on the screen. They do both in the same movie, and I think that's the best way to show off speed. I also really liked the lightning effects with them. I know that lightning isn't commonly associated as one of Sonic's powers, but having the different colors clashing just was really cool. And the way they fight, dude, I can't show it, but the end sequence where Sonic and Shadow were just throwing hands, it was so cool. Next, I wanted to go into the characters and writing because it's pretty hit or miss for me. The Eggmen were kind of annoying, I'll be honest. I get they wanted to make the most of the two Jim Carreys on screen, but they really push it to an extreme I don't like, especially with the fourth wall breaking jokes and the dancing. I get it's a kids movie, but come on, like, they could have at least made Gerald slightly more threatening, while having Eggman remain the comic relief for most of the movie. I really felt that would have worked with both of their characters, but instead they made both of them comic relief characters. So when Gerald started talking about wanting to destroy the whole world for vengeance of Maria's death, I could not take that shit seriously because they built up Gerald as a comic relief character throughout the whole movie. One aspect of Eggman they did do right was Eggman's and Stone's homosexual relationship. I mean, what? Homosexual undertones aside though, I do think their relationship was done very well in this movie, with Agent Stone having to learn that Eggman didn't really care about him, but Eggman learning that he cared more about Stone than he even realized. I do wish we had gotten more character development between them because as it is, at one moment, Eggman says that Stone's fired, and the next moment, which happens a bit later, but he never mentions Stone in between, he's apologizing to him. I feel like we could have had a scene in between of Eggman realizing, oh wait, Stone was actually helpful to me. Other than that though, they're the toxic old man yaoi of all time, so, you know, it's not terrible. The human OCs. Is it really a compliment for me to say that I'm glad that there were less of them? One thing I really liked about the Mario movie is it was a movie solely based on Mario characters, not including any OCs. But I guess the Sonic franchise isn't a stranger to OCs, huh? Low-hanging fruits aside, really appreciated their dialed back role in this movie. They really only had one major scene, and I really liked that. And I would be lying if I'd say they didn't make me laugh sometimes. But I think the dialed back nature of them made them funnier because they detracted less from the actual Sonic characters, and thus I was spending less time being so mad at them for existing. But yeah, I like the role they played in this movie as less of active members of the plot and more of just like a motivation for Sonic and company. As for Team Sonic, they're okay. Like, I get it comes with the territory of Sonic the Hedgehog, but I did think he was annoying at times with like the whole Konichi what shit. Hot Topic joke was cool, but I feel like people are 100% convinced it's an intentional Snap Cube reference when it could be just, you know, the fact that Shadow's edgy. The Beatles joke was funny though. Knuckles and Tails were okay. Knuckles was funny and entertaining for a lot of the movie, and I loved his character dynamic with Sonic. But Tails, I felt, was kind of just there. Like, he was a nothing burger character throughout pretty much the whole movie. But the best character, of course, is Shadow. He just eats up every scene he's in. They do a perfect job at maintaining the balance between his cool badassery and his just pure grief, and it shows both off really well in a way I didn't expect this movie to tackle, considering the fact that it's a kid's movie. I do feel like his character development was somewhat rushed, but that's okay because it's hard to fit a full game's worth of character development in just a 2 to 3 hour movie. And I don't really care because it's Shadow the goddamn Hedgehog, dude. Also, shout out to Keanu Reeves. I was skeptical of this casting at first because, like, I only knew Keanu as the funny Reddit John Wick man. But I was surprised at just how well Keanu managed to portray Shadow's character, and it's the only actor I could think of that could have managed this type of performance for Shadow. Besides, you know, Shadow's actual voice actor from the games. But of course, one of the most important parts of any video game adaptation is the references to the source material, and this movie is chock full of them. Not as much as the Mario movie, but still, I'll go into why that might have been a good thing after I list some of the cool references. Obviously, Live and Learn acted as the main leitmotif for the movie as a whole and for Shadow as a character, and I thought that was really cool. As the composer for this movie said, you could not have made this movie without it. But that and the obvious Green Hill Zone inclusion weren't the only songs from the Sonic series included in this. Eggman's main leitmotif in the movie was his theme that got introduced in Sonic 06 and was reused throughout the series. But there's also a point in the movie where Dr. Eggman's ringtone plays, and it's EGGMAN from Sonic Adventure 2. According to the credits, there was also a point where Escape from the City played, however, I didn't pick up on it, so if you know where it played, please remind me. The attention to detail when it came to the way that Shadow in general moved was amazing. Like, he did his skating and dropkick attacks from the game, which I like. The jumping out of the helicopter near the start of the movie was a Sonic Adventure 2 reference in and of itself, but they also included the "no food or movies" line verbatim, and like, that's a touch that they didn't have to add, but I'm so glad they did. Shadow uses a gun for the first time since 05, which was cool. I thought Sonic Team was allergic to giving this guy a gun again. But a different Shadow 05 reference was more impactful to me, and that was when they recreated the scene of Sonic fucking dying from the Shadow the Hedgehog opening. The Japanese restaurant they go to with all the chow is called the Chow Garden. Cheeky reference, guys, but when are you bringing it back in the games? They nearly shot Maria. She would have been shot had the gun not been redirected towards the explosive things by Walters or whatever his name was. And I feel like that was a good compromise and the closest they could get to shooting a child on camera without actually shooting a child on camera in a kid's movie. Just the entire ending with the machine firing the death laser and Shadow having to push it away and... well, you get the joke. But my favorite wow cool reference moment in the movie was when Shadow's pushing away the machine, he takes off his limiter rings, and that's just such a neat detail that'll fly over like 90% of the audience's heads, but I'm so glad that they included it. It shows that the creators of this film do care about the source material, even the more infamous entries like 06. But I mentioned that this movie doesn't have as much references as the Mario movie, and I also mentioned that it was a good thing earlier, and here's why. It's because this movie isn't just references, it does its own thing with the Sonic cast. The Mario movie, for as much as I liked going, haha, get the reference at all the references, it wasn't much in terms of plot, it was just your bog standard Mario story. This movie, while taking a lot from Sonic Adventure 2, still does its own unique things with Sonic and its cast while having a lot of references, and I think striking a balance between having references to the source material and doing its own thing is the perfect way to approach a video game adaptation by making it new but familiar. It remained faithful to the source material while expanding the world, which the Mario movie didn't really do, as much as I liked that movie. I wanted to touch on the credits real quick because I liked the credits. It was a nod to the Dreamcast art style, and I liked that a lot. But Jelly Roll's music just does not fit. Why couldn't they have used the Sonic Adventure 2 song? Come on. I think Escape from the City would have been the perfect choice for the credits theme. The Mario movie made me pop off at Gusty Garden being worked into the credits theme, so I know Sonic can do it too. But how about the post-credits scene, huh? Amy and Metal are cool. Like, having them in the Sonic movie series is gonna be cool. I can't wait for that. But I feel going from Sonic Adventure 2, one of the most iconic stories in the series, to a Sonic CD story is a bit underwhelming. Maybe if they incorporate Heroes and Neo Metal and Metal Overlord into Sonic 4, it'd get me more excited, but after Shadow, Amy and Metal doesn't really feel as the natural next step. Maybe that's just my bias for Silver and 06 in general, though. I wanted to see my son again. But like, could you imagine? The camera zooms away from Sonic and his group up to a hilltop where Silver comes out of a portal and he's like, I finally found him! The ambush trigger! That would have been so cool, but again, maybe it's my bias for 06 in general. 06 had so many good ideas in terms of its plot, just some parts of it, like Elise and shit, fell flat. teasing Silver could have been the perfect opportunity to rewrite 06's story and make a better version of it for the next Sonic movie. Maybe he'll be in Sonic 5. What we got was cool enough anyway. But enough being negative about what was a stellar movie. I want to talk about my favorite aspect, which is just what I like to call the hype factor. Because setting aside all the references in terms of music and story stuff, which was hype-inducing in and of itself, this movie was just fucking cool. Like, all the fight scenes were energetic and fun to watch, and like, there were huge moments, like both of them going for the emeralds and going super, and especially the whole fight with Super Sonic versus Super Shadow was just fun. And adding all the references on top of that made it even more hype. Like, when they shoot off for the final fight and Live and Learn starts playing with the lyrics for the first time in the movie, I think that's so cool because Live and Learn was already used throughout the movie as a main leitmotivic component. So it's really bringing Live and Learn as a leitmotivic component for the movie full circle. And like, it's the culmination of that piece of music in this film. Which is exactly what Sonic Adventure 2 did with the same exact song, working Live and Learn's motif into songs like the title screen and the BioLizard fight theme, before ultimately culminating with the final boss theme in all its lyrical glory. So, you know, it fits, and the scene where the Live and Learn starts playing in the movie gave me actual chills. I want to revise my Mario movie ranking really quickly because even with how much fun I had in the theater and how much I'm a Mario fan, in hindsight the movie just isn't that good for me to rank it a 9 out of 10, even with how fun the experience is. I'd rate the Mario movie an 8 out of 10 now, and for the Sonic movie, I'd rate it like an 8.5 out of 10. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was a huge step up from the two prior entries in the film series, and I was surprised with just how much fun I had with this movie. So yeah, 8.5 really sounds right to me, and I hope this becomes the blueprint for video game movies going forward. Chock full of references and hype moments, but still telling its own story, but most of all, just fun. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video.